はい、こんにちは、翔太です。今回はザ・ビギナーズガイド前回の続きやっていきます。前回のパート2みたいなのがあったら概要欄から見てください。お願いします。スピルをクリーンしろと。はい、クリーンしたよ。イカれた俺の考えを君に伝えなきゃいけない。言っていい？めっちゃイカれようじゃないか。てんてんてん、てんてんてん。いや。俺がバカだった。そんなことないよ。言ってよ。気になるじゃないか。セラが汚れているのはこっちへ来て洗ってはどうだい？この人の見た目よく見たらデフォルトの見た目なのね。オスジャリッシーズ。これ裏側からできるかな？こっちから。あ、できるわ。バスダブの掃除。あ、さっきのね。できるだけ汚れを落とす。完璧にはならなくていい。人間なんだから。はい。めっちゃ綺麗。寝室の床に本が。では、この作業めんどくさいな。自分。お前動けよ。動けよ、お前。もう私が全てやってんじゃないかって。ちょうどよく股間が隠れてる、この人。なんか悔しいな。出れねえし。こっからできる？できねえわ。これね。はい、記念したよ。完璧だ。それではテーブルの皿、さっき片付けたよ。
It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
なるほど。よくわかんないけど。無限ループ系のゲーム？これ。こうだ、本当にこのゲームが好きなんだ。ちょっと待って、設定、オプション、操作設定変えたい。ごめん。そう、キーボード、しゃがみをね、シフトにしたい。あれ？できない。くそ。見てくれと私に電話してきたのはこのゲームだけ？マジか。待って、音量設定変えます。はい、失礼しました。笑みを浮かべて歩き回っちゃう。なんか精神安定しとるね。羨ましい。私も精神安定してるけど、すごいいいことだよ。で、出れないんだけど。おっと、どうすればいいんだ？あ、これか。無限ループに入っているか。バスダブが、本当の無限ループに入っているよ。さっきすごく言い換えた考えがあるって言ったけど、人の心ってその人の住みかに似ているなって思いついたんだ。人は家を守り、家は人を守る。へへ。どうしてこれを言いづらいと思ったんだろう。わかるよ。あった。まあ、そこでは真理をついているんじゃないか。てんてんてん。とにかく家事を続けよう。ありがとう。ありがとう。はい。感謝された私。私何をすればいいの？本を整理。ねえ、なんでさっききれいにしたやん。これね。彼がこれを作ってくれてよかった。私が彼は平穏を見つけたことがなんちゃらなんちゃら。質問。これ楽しい。いや、楽しくない。いなくなっちゃった。なんで？止まってはいけない。止まろう。なんも起きないんかい。なんか起きろよ。止まったらいけないって言って止まったらなんか起こすのがいいだろう。坂急だよな。はい、脱出。
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right?
あな
That
たは
sooner or later you have to pick up and move.
落ちれる、落ちれな
I
い。
really thought that was the point of it.
あ、9月。あなた好みの商
This
品をメン
one
バー
gets
限
a
定
bit
価格。
goofy.
お、記者会見。君が今日ここに来た理由、講義か大学のよい人生、仕事を得るため自分しか出席してない。有意義な人脈を築くため違う。完璧になるために来たんだ。そんなことになれるんですか？お、場所移動。完璧なる方法。友人や出会う人々にはこう言わしめようじゃないか。ああ、この人は私より優れた人間だと。今、君を評価してくれる人はいるかね？まあ、ある程度いるかも。人として成熟した者が輪にいるかね？早い。話すのが早い。めっちゃ近づく。完璧は君の手の中にあるのだ。普通の方法は問題にしない。いかに努力せず行うかが問題なのだ。簡単だ。とても簡単だ。後ろ向こう。とても簡単だ。視点が変わる。うん。了解。これは鍵や努力する。
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
あ、そっちやに行けないのか。選べるものが。小さな道はない。この講義何書いてあるのかめっちゃ気になるんだけど。みんな気づけ。みんな逃げて。ダメなのか届かないのか。完璧。覚えがあるか。
Assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
10年1月。時間がどんどん進んでいきますね。ちょっと数学の勉強でもしつつ。4ヶ月めっちゃね。例の舞台。舞台に出るの。裏方から、じゃあ前に。ちょっと、こっちにもなんか気になるけど、これ上登れる？登れる。まあ、特になんもないけど。客席に降りれる？降りれない。うわっやめてよ。心臓に悪い。公演が始まります。ご注目を。逃げよう。逃げれねえ。逃げれる？逃げれねえ。素晴らしいプロたちが集まっています。まず壁にもたれかかりましょう。私？裏から。ダメか。はい。いいですね、そこにいてください。やだね。向こうの椅子に座っているのを、プロの動物。あなたの夢は上に乗ったろう。上に乗れんじゃん。やばいだろ。トイレは、ごめんなさい。それだけ？こんなの会話じゃない。厳しい。会話しなきゃいけないんだよ。人間らしくね。もう一度だ。私人間だけどね。突然、じゃあ、はい、告白。違う。私が彼女に言ったことと全く違う。会話の調子をすっかり外している。欲しいものがあり、自信があった。なぜだか、もっとリアルな舞台を用意すればいいか。コーン。これ？そっちのコーンね。さあ、もう一度話しかけろ。コミュ障だから。はい。 とりあえず褒める。またひどくやらかしたな。なになにこれ、面白い。すべてこれが勝ってるのに、機会は二度とない。千年ってなってる。試したいことがある。舞台から降りてみてくれ。なんで向こうに、いや、降りるってそっち降りるじゃないでしょ。こっちに行くよ、私は。降りれない。ダメだ。めっちゃ暗い。閉じ込められた。
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Koda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
普通か。机の上が汚い。何これ、目を閉じてプレイしてください。はい、わかりました。はい。なに今目つむってるけど、何か起きてんの？なんか言ってくれよ。何もわかんねえぞ。とりあえず1、2、3とか押しとく。何も見えないんだけど。適当に、もう適当だ。もうやけくそにやってちょっと操作してみるんだけど。メビウスの輪でしょ。だから多分こっちの方向になんかあると見た。音がなんかあんのか、そこら辺に。今私目つむってるから何があんのかわかんない。今死んだみたいな音しなかった。ちょっと目開けるこれ。
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
英語だからわからん。目開けていい？開けるよ。僕は盲目なんだ。助けて目が見えないんだ。何も見えない。何が起こってるんだじゃあ。はい。私は盲目。はい、今助ける。そういうこと？そういうこと？なんか近づいてきてんだ。あれを。船長、ここら辺で操作。避けろ。どうやって避ければいいの？ここ？真実。これ、正直に話すことよ。違うわ。これは真実じゃない。死ぬ。どういうこと？あれがトリガーかな？ゲーム作れないのかな？もうゲームを作れない。それが真実よ。作ってるけどね。
Like I said, I was getting concerned.
体力が尽き
First
た。
off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So, where's that coming from? But then, even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
白。ここはどこ？え？おう。まあ人間怪しいわね。誰かと話すのは久しぶり。この島自身と話してる。もしかしたら放心しているようだけど。わお、どれだろう。まあ、活力ないな。あら、いけない。何があった？何か変わったの？ここなんかあるでしょ。私を保護してくれ。待って、機械を探しているって。そう遠くないわ。そこに私を連れてってくれ。できるけど問題がある。制作の苦しみ、まあ。わからんこともないけどな。
Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even.
お、神社。
And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because, from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash. Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
2011年。機械。さっきなんか言ってたな、機械。警察。ジョーは女なんだ。残忍にするつもりだ。 行動時。コーダ、ああ。コーダ自身なんだね。あ、お、すみません。質問、はい、質問どうぞ。質問どうぞ。ウェイ、ピース、ピース。まあ、そういう感じなんだよな。逃げろ。イェーイ、バイバイ。お、これがプッチョやん。プッチョ。お前は止まった。
And of course, it's the machine.
私はちゃんとマシーンだわ。おう。記者会見。街がやばいね。ついてこい。あれあれ、あ、さっきの。どこだ。うわ、え、うわ、うわ、うわ、すげえ。破壊できる。あー、ちょっと気持ちいいかも。パワーウォッシャーシミュレーター的な。
And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it,
まあ、そう
here's
だ
what
よ
I'm
な。
thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative
あ
effect
ー、
on
明ら
him,
かにこれは
and
もう
that
終
all
わ
he
りだ
needs
ね。
to do is just start showing his work to people. To get some actual
一般
feedback
公
on
開、
his
著作
games,
権的に
it
ちょっ
might
と。
get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realized that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
あ、落ちた。
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took
勝
this
手に
one,
公開しちゃったの。
and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape game. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
なになになになに、怖い。プッチョ。銃を下ろせ。あ、お、撃てる。
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing
私
to
は
do?
正しいことをしたと感
Because
じ
it's
る
the thing that I always feel like I need to be told that my work
全
is
然変われ
good,
ないけど。
that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And
あ、でもちょっとず
I
つ。
got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something. I really felt like I'd done something good, like Like I was a good person, felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It's the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy, so beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while.
休んだ方がいい
So this
ね。
is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's
最後の
the
作
last
品。
game that
遺
Coda
作
ever made. So let's take a look.
ティカルク。11年6月結構前だな。と。おお。こっちの道は
And this is where I have trouble saying
同じ
anything
か。
meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
迷路
Except that all the walls of the
そう
maze
い
are
う系
invisible.
ね。
And then every time
ア
you
ンダー
touch
テー
one
ル
of
で
the
もやった
walls,
ぞ。
there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the level, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
降りれる？あ、降りれる。あ、開いて。
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time.
あ、
If I
番
could
号。
have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
あ、これクリア、ヒントとかなんもないんだね。クリアさせる気が全くない。お
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this
なんだ
side.
よそれ。
So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress.
まあ
And
改
it's
造
scary
すれ
for
ば。
me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. but I can open this door for you, so
あ、そうな
let
ん
me
だ。
do that.
お、開いた。
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel
特
it
に意
somehow.
味あんのかな、こ
I
れ。
feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend.
なんで
I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
なんだ
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up? I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
街頭言ってたのそうなんだ
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean? I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Wariと。どこだ？
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
電車乗れないの？あ、開いた。
Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
どこだここは。
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. what now? I think I need to go.
どこへ
And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
あれはあれ天に召されるやつ4R
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles.
よかったね。面白かったです。